A WWE legend has been added to a major Saturday night's main event segment. An ex-WWE name returned to NXT, and Charlotte Flair could be returning soon. Stay tuned for all the wrestling news. It seems like WWE is enjoying packing these Saturday night's main events with both interesting matchups, but just a ton of legends as well.
Yeah.
We've already seen Jesse Ventura. He was at the last one. It looks like he's going to be at pretty much every single one.
Yeah.
We know that Hulk Hogan
He's got beer to sell, brother.
He does, and he's going to be
He's definitely going to get cheered this time.
Well, yes, definitely, I'm sure. Well, one man that I'm pretty sure will actually get cheered is Shawn Michaels, as he is being added to the card for next week's show. It was announced on last night's SmackDown that he will be in attendance to oversee the contract signing between Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens, who will then hand over their respective championships to Shawn Michaels, who will then, I guess, place them at the top of the ladder himself, or
no,
on the little hook.
Another Playgirl shoot, but with both belts this time.
Oh God! Imagine. I thought, how old is he now? 50, 55, 56-year-old Shawn Michaels, maybe older. I don't know how old Shawn Michaels actually is, but that I don't know if we want to see that. Do you want to see that, Sam?
I think it'd be funny. You'd definitely be able to sell a lot of them on WWEshop.com. But I really like the whole kind of approach now to Saturday night's main event. It was always going to be a throwback. It seemed like, I mean, resurrecting the branding for one. So I think you're going to attract lapsed viewers, but having bigger names of the past on the TV side of it might draw more people toward the Netflix side of it.
Yeah, that's a good shout, actually. You go, hey, look at all these legends, come back and see them.
They've got Jesse Ventura back. I can't wait to see him on Raw. And then he's not there, but you're watching now.
You're still watching. You're hooked. I see. My thought process was it might be the opposite. Of, hey, we've got all these casual viewers coming in from Netflix. Oh, by the way, come and watch this product. Yeah. And you get a little bit more of the history. Oh, look, here's Jesse Ventura, who they probably aren't aware of. Or Hulk Hogan, who they're unfortunately definitely aware of.
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody who's not aware of Hulkster.
Either way, this is also to pop the crowd. It's in Shawn Michaels' backyard. It's sort of this sort of hometown feel for him.
And you know it's going to be a nice segment. He's going to make a very good mediator, and it's going to get a bit tense. And is he going to sweet chin music somebody?
I hope he does. I hope he hits Kevin with a sweet chin music. That'd be fun. Chef Michaels is always cooking, and this segment I'm sure will be the same.
When it comes to handing the belt back over, though, to whenever somebody wins at Rumble, he should throw down the one with the logo on it and just hand over the winged eagle.
Keep the winged eagle. Yeah. I mean, it's more synonymous with Shawn Michaels. That's the one he likes, you know. So maybe that will happen. We shall see. But we've got more changes though coming to the commentary teams for WWE.
It's all been up in the air with Corey Graves, and now it's all getting weirder again.
It is. I mean, only temporarily, we must say, because Wade Barrett is set to return to Raw this coming week to replace Pat McAfee on commentary. This is due to ESPN announcing McAfee for a college football national championship match between Ohio State and Notre Dame. I did my research.
Notre Dame, actually.
That's how you pronounce it. Notre Dame, okay.
Notre Dame.
I'm not surprised Wade Barrett's the one to fill in for Pat. Yeah. He's very good. He's
knowledgeable of the product. He's got the chemistry. It kind of fits. And it means that Pat can continue to go off and have these high-profile appearances elsewhere in media, which even if people are just going, oh, I like that Pat McAfee, where can I see more of him? They're going to see WWE in the results. So I think that there's no way you're going to stop this. Pat's obviously his history in the NFL and his podcast and everything mean that he is his own form of social media sensation. So there's probably going to be a lot of this. We've already seen it happen before with him. But we just got to kind of get used to it. So as long as they've got people who can fill the gap, I think that's the thing.
They've got the people that fill the gap. We know that their commentary teams are quite extensive. We've seen Corey Graves get moved recently down to NXT and then not appear on TV. Obviously, there's an issue there that has been ongoing. But it is interesting that Wade Barrett's the one to fill in. I fully expected that maybe if Graves there wasn't this question mark over Graves. Could have been Graves. But yeah, happy to see Wade Barrett back on Raw. I think he's maybe one of their strongest commentators at the moment.
Yeah, I'm liking that he's just quietly getting on with it, and he always gets a good reaction out of me. So
absolutely. Well, we have had a little bit of an update, a little sliver
it's like
of information. Yes, Ricky Starks appeared at House of Glory events last night, where he faced TNA star Mike Santana. But following the match, Ricky Starks grabbed a mic and then sort of addressed his on-screen absence at AEW slightly.
Yeah, he's been up in the air. There's been a lot of rumors that he's WWE bound. He's off TV because of this. He's being penalized for X, Y, Z. There's like loads of headcanon flying around. There's all sorts. But he said, I'm going to say it as plainly as this. I cannot thank each and every one of you enough. I've been reading your messages asking if I'm mentally okay, asking if I'm good, checking on me. If you thought that I was somebody less than a year ago, guess what? You're sadly mistaken, because I have evolved to a man 4 years from today. And that's saying something, because a lot of y'all have not seen anything from me yet.
I think he is definitely someone who will end up in WWE. I think it's just a matter of time.
He's got a hell of a lot of upside, right? So he's the type of talent that can really, 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 really last for a long time now. So
100%.
It has felt like he's been WWE bound, but then again, that is just what happens when anybody gets in any kind of political thing and rumors start swirling. Then it's like, oh, he's going to the other company.
I think he has been very smart though, just as I guess a businessman, in the sense of he hasn't sort of disparaged what's going on behind the scenes, or let anything out about that, as far as we're aware anyway. Here, obviously, he's just referring to the fact that he has been off screen and people have not seen him. He did also make a comment about the fact that how wrestling industry is so good to him that he's been able to pay for his mother's house, and he wants to give so much more back to her, and he will get to do that in the future, he says. So there was little hints there, but we haven't seen anything from him recently, which is a real shame.
Yeah, but it means that wherever he does land and whenever he does land, you got to think he's going to make a big splash. So
speaking of landing and splashes, someone was doing that at an NXT live event last night. Someone that we've not seen in WWE in quite some time. Are you excited about this one?
Not as excited as Jack the Jobber's going to be when he wakes up in about an hour's time.
That's what I was thinking. Jack is going to be buzzing for this one, because Lindsay Dorado made his WWE return last night during an NXT house show. He posted on Twitter, "Cat's out of the bag, time to get #LuchaLit," along with a photo of him hitting, I think it was a shooting star press he was hitting from a match that he had last night. It has been speculated for some time though that he would be returning to the company.
Been teasing the letters NXT and stuff on his social media, but he's a hell of a talent. He's somebody who, while I was covering 205 Live way back in the day, was always a delight in such a weird setup of a show and such a weird kind of mishmash of a brand, I guess. If you want to call
it was
it
a weird aspect. It was like NXT, but not.
He would always be featured fairly regularly, and he'd always have standout moments in his matches. So he's somebody that when I think the company parted ways with him, it was just like, oh, it's just sad, because I felt like there was a lot more upside than maybe the chances he'd been given under the old ownership.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe now we might see a different side to him.
What I'm interested in the fact that he's coming into NXT rather than going back to the main roster, which you would kind of assume when you've got someone who's been on the main roster before with the Lucha House Party. Now in NXT, maybe he's there to sort of guide that younger group who wants to get into that style.
We throw it around a lot, but you need those kind of elder statesman figures in NXT as your bosses, really, because
the player coach.
They're the people that, as the younger talent progress and work their way up the Mortal Kombat tower and they get past Lindsay Dorado, it's like, oh god, okay, but you put him in a position where he's strong, and given his talent and given his tenure in the industry, hopefully he's going to be booked in that way.
We shall see what happens. I'm sure Chef Michaels will have something cooking for him. Going back to SmackDown though, last night we did have a little bit of a tease for someone who could be making the return very, very soon. That is, of course, Charlotte Flair. This has been speculated for some time. I feel like we've discussed this somewhat before, where it's been reported that Charlotte is coming back soon.
It was probably about a month or so ago, and then it slowly just drips and drabs. Yeah, she's coming back soon. She's coming back soon. And now we finally had the teaser vignette.
The first tease, yes. The vignette saw her boarding planes, drinking champagne, sitting on big boats and all sorts of stuff. Very, very Ric Flair-esque, actually, with the limousines and the wheeling dealing.
And the 78 Rolexes.
Exactly. So we also saw highlights of her wrestling career during that video package. There was no date given, though, on when she'll be back, which makes me think Royal Rumble.
But yeah, it would make a lot of sense for her to pop up at the Rumble. But then Well, I think there's the whole what do you leave it as a surprise, but then if you market her ahead of time, it's people are going to tune in to try and see her. So
yeah, I mean, I feel you don't even have to go. She's going to be at the Rumble if you just keep these vignettes going and being like,
Rumble, yeah.
Hey, it's the Friday before the Rumble.
She's back soon.
She's here she is. I feel like she's a good shout to maybe win the Rumble this year.
Yeah, I can see her coming in and just cleaning house. So she's always a very, very, very dangerous threat when it comes to Charlotte, especially coming back.
Especially if you hold a title.
Especially if you hold a title and she's coming back after an absence. She seems to come back in and just slot right back into the top of the table. So it's going to be interesting seeing what happens this time. Potentially her versus Tiffy.
It feels like it has to happen.
Yeah,
Tiffy keeps that belt to Mania. Charlotte wins the Rumble. Boom.
And then Charlotte takes the belt off her at Mania.
No.
I want Tiffy to win, but I don't think there's any other result.
There's no hope there. Anyway, that is all we have got for you just now. We will be back later on today with more wrestling news. So we will see you later on.